Alright guys, chapter 900 of One Piece, a chapter which has a lot of the community divided as to what they think will happen next, but I think that there is a very persuasive argument that suggests that maybe what we saw in this chapter wasn't precisely what actually occurred. And so guys, for this video I am not talking about the Thousand Sunny and whether or not it is destroyed. I'm not talking about the Straw Hat crew and whether or not they are alright. I'm talking specifically about Big Mom and what she was doing as she was singing the demise of the Straw Hat Pirates. And so guys, this video may at some points in time, specifically at the beginning, you may want to turn off. You may want to go somewhere else, but stay till the end because it is worth your time. I am still unsure as to whether or not I believe this to be true, and as with all theories, there is a huge possibility that it's wrong. And if it's wrong, it's going to completely waste your time per se, because it won't have any relevance. But if it is true, and the argument made for it is just straight up shocking. In this last chapter, Big Mom is eating the wedding cake, and as she's singing, as she's speaking to us, the audience, this situation, this scene, this event for Big Mom is only really comparable to one other in her entire life as far as we are aware. Big Mom states herself that this cake and its taste reminds her of her happiness from back then, back when she was 6 years old and she had the best birthday party of her life. The birthday party that she has been trying to relive for her entire life. The birthday party in which she ended up eating all of the orphans and Mother Carmel, and the point of this video is to argue that right now Big Mom is doing just the same. And so guys, bear with me, let's begin. And let's start off with this, guys. There's two situations in which Big Mom is more dangerous than normal. Obviously, the one that we are most familiar with is Big Mom's rage, or Big Mom's illness. Basically, she craves something and she goes on a rampage. This is normally triggered when she begins to starve. However, as we learned in Big Mom's flashback, she was not starving, she was not craving anything. She was in fact eating what it was that she was craving, and yet for some reason or another, we do not know exactly why, Big Mom ate Mother Carmel and the rest of the orphans. A lot of people would make the argument that she's just reaching for the croquembouche, and she happens to find people there and she just accidentally ate them. And I imagine that this is at least partially true, but I want you guys to know that we did not actually get to see it occur. And so she has no memory of doing this, but it's very clear that she must have been in some kind of delirious state while she ate Mother Carmel and the orphans, because, it's like she wouldn't do that if she was conscious. And so this chapter shed a bit of light onto what is going on in Big Mom's mind when she eats something that is this delicious. This helps explain how she ended up eating Mother Carmel and the orphans. In this chapter, we can see that Big Mom is completely out of her mind. She's lost in another world. I am not going to make the argument that Big Mom hallucinated what happened to the Strats and Cacao Island. However, everything that we see in regards to Big Mom eating the cake, once we go inside of her mouth, I think that that's all in her mind. She has no idea about anything that is actually occurring. And so these two situations are comparable when Big Mom is 6, and now this is the only experience she has had like that. It only occurs when she eats something extremely delicious, and so being comparable, this same thing must have occurred inside of Big Mama's mind when she was 6 and she ate everybody. And then getting into the actual panels in this last chapter themselves, guys, we get no context of what is actually occurring in where Big Mom is right now eating the cake. We have no context whatsoever because Big Mom is hallucinating. We see no people. The soldiers that she sees and the singing trees and what, they're not there. Sparrow and Bavarois are watching, but we don't get to see their reaction after the moment in which we go inside of Big Mom's mouth, where we presume she begins to hallucinate. We also do not get to see the reaction of any of the citizens, or Chiffon, or Capone, or anybody. So we really don't know what is actually happening. And so probably at this point, some of you are very intrigued, maybe some of you have already been persuaded, but there will be a lot of you who will say, okay, JB, is that what you have? You have a connection with the past. Okay, that's technically possible. We will concede it's happened before. it could happen again. But like, what actually makes you think that it is happening now, without even including all the other things that don't really make sense? Is that all you got? The answer is no, because if you read the chapter from the perspective that Big Mom is possibly eating people at this exact moment, and you read the chapter, it seems almost too blatantly obvious that Oda is in fact directly foreshadowing it. Remember guys, there's this moment where Big Mom is seemingly eating the cake. She has a giant smile, and then the scene goes inside of her mouth, and this is when we presume that she starts hallucinating. And what do we see inside of her mouth as we go in? Gravestones, death. Oda is literally showing us death within Big Mom. And what exactly does she say as this is occurring? No, this is beyond my wildest dreams. I can't even find the words to describe it. What is this? What is this taste? It's a taste that could even make a dead puppy break into a dance. It's a pet cemetery. Did Big Mom just eat a puppy? Literally. Look, that's right, this kind of ruckus. It's like when a bomb is thrown into an amusement park in my stomach. What the hell does that mean? When you throw a bomb into an amusement park, people die. Are dead people inside of Big Mom? Is that what Oda is saying? She then goes on to say after all of this, it's the taste of happiness from back then. The taste of happiness from back then was mixed in with the taste of human flesh. Why is the chorus so sweet and milky, so velvety and risky? Why is it risky? What does that even mean? Like seriously, I would like a better translation because I'm not certain if this makes sense, but it definitely isn't a word that fits in with the connotation of the other ones. And in the final panel in which we get to see Big Mom, she has the very same face, almost exactly the same face as she did after she had finished consuming the Simla and all of the orphans and Mother Carmel when she was 6. Yummy, thanks for the meal. Guys, this is literally, it's too much for me. Like, I want to believe it because it makes sense to believe it, but at the same time, like, what? Like, no. I think many people's first reaction is, well, Joy Boy, there's nobody around Big Mom for her to eat. And while true, sort of, it's also not true because everyone was initially running away from her until she started eating the cake, and then they stopped. And then Mondor specifically went on to the Dendemushi and announced to all of Totland that it was now safe. Pudding had succeeded and everyone began cheering. So not only did the people around Big Mom not run away far enough, but afterwards they might have even gotten closer. Like, we don't know because, again, we're assuming that Big Mom started hallucinating. So we don't know what the context is. To take this further, people might also argue, bro, we don't even know if she chased down the orphans and Mother Carmel when she was 6 years old. They were literally sitting around the table. She didn't have to go very far. She didn't eat the house, she only ate the table, the food, and the people around it. And again here, we don't know the context of what actually occurred. However, we can see the clothes of Mother Carmel quite a ways away from the table, which kinda suggests that Big Mom might have gotten up and chased her. Either way, the table is big enough that Big Mom couldn't just reach over and grab her, certainly couldn't have reached over and grabbed everyone so quickly, I don't think. So whatever occurred didn't occur in the blink of an eye. Time passed. Additionally, people might argue the amount of time that passed. Like, okay bro, she blacked out for a couple seconds, maybe a minute, but what's to say that, she would have any time to eat more than just maybe one person, maybe? Does this perhaps align with the fact that Big Mom has been starved so much before getting to this point? The amount of time in this hallucination might be proportional to how hungry Big Mom is. It also might be proportional to how delicious the cake is. The more delicious it is, the longer that she will hallucinate. Some might also say, well, Big Mom would first have to finish the cake before eating, chasing down people, right? And frankly, once she starts hallucinating, our sense of time and space and distance and everything that's going on is all out of whack. We don't know when these things are occurring in proportion to how much of the cake is left. And I certainly do think that it makes sense. You first eat the cake, and then your mind is still sort of locked up in how delicious it is afterwards. Or maybe you're subconsciously craving more, and you begin to eat everything around you, with your mind convinced that it is the cake. Either way, regardless of how you want to take the specificities and what you want to believe or you don't want to believe and how you want to rationalize what is going on, guys, I'm seriously convinced that it is definitely a possibility that what we saw from Big Mom in this chapter was incredibly misleading. At the beginning of Whole Cake Island, the first time that we're introduced to the cake, the homies themselves are singing all sorts of grotesque things about the cake, like the strawberry jam. What will it be made out of? Will it be made out of somebody's blood? A perfectly devilish sacrifice. Now granted, we were led to believe that this had to do with the assassination attempt on the Vinsmokes, but then being related to the cake, putting even remarks that perhaps the Vinsmoke would get some of their blood on the cake. Maybe Oda has always been foreshadowing that when Big Mom eats the cake, it's gonna come with the side of human blood and flesh. But yeah, guys, I was thinking about the connection of this as I read the chapter, and in a conversation with Revujo, I finally decided that I think this is what I'm going to choose to believe. At least for now, until Oda proves us otherwise. And if it's true, man, just shocking. It would be absolutely game-changingly shocking. But as always, I am curious as to what you have to say about this, whether you agree or disagree and why. Share your thoughts. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked the video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to be notified for my future content. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.